I thought I'd go straight in for the most pretentious title. My very short paper is really just an attempt to give you a little micro illustration of some of the work that the BBC pronunciation unit, for which I was privileged to work for 8 years, contribute to the Archers. So, content warning for the anarchists, I will be mentioning the cast slightly. Okay. The pronunciation unit is a specialist team within the BBC, and it exists to advise anybody who's making programmes for the BBC, so independent production companies as well as in-house programmes like the Archers, on the pronunciation of any word, name or phrase in any language at all. As the unit's resident Archers fan, probably only Archers fan, but certainly the biggest Archers fan among the unit staff, it usually fell to me to provide advice to the programme's production team on any pronunciations required. The queries range from veterinary terms, agricultural terms. I remember being asked about abomasum, the cow's stomach, and how would, not how is it pronounced, but how would David pronounce it, to Central European names, foods in relation to home farm pickers, who can forget the banitsa. But doing Jim Lloyd's Latin was always my absolute favourite. So I'm going to talk about Jim for a minute, and I'm going to talk about Latin for a minute, and then I'll show you a real example of just one bit of script and a query that we dealt with. So, I think we can all agree that the use of Latin tags and quotations is one of the key character notes for Jim. Even the BBC's own page chooses to use a Latin tag as an illustration of what Jim typically comes out with. And who can forget the ambush fate of 2009, at which Jim dressed in a toga and performed Marcus Borges Cato's treatise on the medicinal uses of cabbage. Go back and listen again if you missed it. Okay, so Jim speaks Latin. But how does he speak Latin? How does he pronounce his Latin? Because there's more than one way to do that. Since Latin can be pronounced in a variety of ways, John Rowe, who plays Jim, and the scriptwriters and production team needed some guidance on how Jim might do it, and this needed to be consistent. We can't have him doing Schoolboy Latin one week, reconstructed another. So there were 3 broad pronunciation models for Latin, with small divisions in between them. Reconstructed classical Latin is the pronunciation now taught to students of Latin. It's as close as we can get to how the Romans actually spoke. Ecclesiastical Latin, as used by the Catholic Church, is greatly influenced by Italian pronunciation, and it's the pronunciation, if any of you sing in a choir, and you sing in Latin, in an ecclesiastical or choral context, that's the Latin pronunciation we'll be using. There are small variations within that, according to the country of origin, but so when the pronunciation unit was advising Radio 3 on titles of cantatas and stuff, well, that would be the model to go for. And then there's Anglicised Latin, which, although it hasn't been taught to school children for a generation or more, is still referred to as schoolboy Latin. And these are the traditional pronunciations, highly anglicised, used for Latin words which have been assimilated into English. Typically, this is used for Latin words and phrases which relate to medicine or botany or legal Latin, which is highly anglicised, just like legal French is. But shifting between these models or hybridisation between is commonly done. This is really quick. This is just, I thought I'd give you what is different in these models. So as far as the consonants go, Latin always has hard cut, hard gut, hard tut, whatever comes after it. S is always S, J is always Y, so Julius, Caesar, and so forth. And H is pronounced. Ecclesiastical and Anglicised Latin do the same thing, where the consonants soften before the front vowels, i.e., A-E, A-E. And then similar things happen to it. So you get ch, like chali, which in classical Latin would be kylie, and so forth. So words like ascendit, suscipe, they become sh, where they would still be sk in classical Latin. And Anglicised Latin does the same thing with the vowel softening, does some slightly different things with C and TR, and pronounces its J's as J. Okay. And the vowels, reconstructed classical Latin and ecclesiastical Latin use the same things, with each other. So they have these fairly pure monophthongal vowel qualities. They can be long or they can be short. R, E, R, E, O, and U. sometimes spelled with a phi, of course, in Latin orthography. Whereas Anglicised Latin, when the vowels are long, they do sort of A, E, I, O, and U, so you get pater, not pater. There's also some vowel reduction you can see in in pater, which is actually present in pater. Diphthongs in proper Latin, in reconstructed classical Latin, they are for some of their parts, so you just do the first bit and the second bit, as you would if they were short vowels, whereas Anglicised Latin has this or, U, and E for the O's, as in fetus. So, that is, and one more thing is for all three systems you need to know the vowel length because it affects the placement of the stress. Stress in Latin falls on the penult, the second last syllable, if that syllable is heavy, closed by a consonant which has got a long vowel in it, but on the antepenult if not. This is important. As you see in the example coming up, Latin phrases arrive with the pronunciation without the length marks, as indeed my title did not have the length marks in place. Typically they're not there, so the first thing you have to do is look them up in the dictionary. This, and here we have a real live script example. This was something Jim had to come out with. So first we look up, check our length marks. We see that quivis has a long I, dolori, remedium et est patientia. Different choices to make here. So a few years back Jim said this, so we check the length mark and we think about the model. And although I no longer work at the pronunciation unit, one of my last acts before I left was to write them some notes on this is how Jim's going to do his Latin now and forevermore. And my professional decision, my professional decision after weighing up Jim's age, which might have steered us towards something more schoolboy, against his professed atheism and obvious love of pedantry, was that Jim would be one for doing something as close to what the Romans did as possible. And therefore, in this case, so quibus dolori remedium est patientia versus quibus dolori remedium est patientia. I hope you'll agree with me that in this case, all others like it, use the basic reconstructed classical Latin as befits a stickler like Jim.